The Vorthak scout ship descended through Earth's atmosphere like a silent predator, its advanced cloaking technology rendering it invisible to primitive human detection systems. Commander HFY studied the tactical display with satisfaction. The target was perfect, an isolated agricultural settlement in what the humans called Kansas, surrounded by endless fields of grain and no military installations for hundreds of kilometers. These humans are soft. HFY clicked his mandibles, in what passed for laughter among his species. They spend their lives nurturing plants. They will surrender the moment they see our superior technology. The intelligence reports had been clear. Humans were a young species, barely out of their own atmosphere, with crude weapons and no understanding of real warfare. The Vorthak Empire had conquered 47 worlds using the same strategy: isolate, intimidate, dominate. This backwater farm would be their first foothold on Earth. As dawn broke over the Miller family farm, the alien ship materialized above the cornfields like a metallic thundercloud. Sarah Miller was feeding chickens when the shadow fell across the yard. She looked up, squinted at the impossible sight, and did something the Vorthak didn't expect. She smiled. "Tom," she called to her husband, who was fixing a fence post near the barn. "Looks like we got visitors, the kind that don't knock first." Tom Miller straightened, wiped his weathered hands on his jeans, and studied the hovering craft. His expression remained calm, almost bored. "Well, I'll be damned. Martha was right about that military surplus auction being worth the drive." Vorthak dropships launched with precision, disgorging 20 elite warriors onto the farmhouse lawn. They wore powered armor that gleamed in the morning sun, carried plasma rifles that hummed with deadly energy, and moved with the coordinated efficiency of a professional military unit. Commander HFY activated his universal translator and stepped forward. "Primitive humans, you will surrender this territory to the Vorthak Empire. Resist, and you will be—" His words were cut off by the distinctive sound of a pump action, shotgun being racked. Sarah Miller stood on her front porch, the weapon held with casual competence. "Honey, you might want to check your intelligence reports," she said conversationally. "We're not just farmers." Tom appeared at the corner of the barn, and HFY's optical sensors detected the glint of metal in his hands. 23rd Infantry Division, Fort Riley," Tom called out, his voice carrying the unmistakable authority of command. "Retired, but not forgotten." The farmhouse exploded into coordinated chaos. Sarah's first shot took down the warrior nearest. The porch, her slugs punching through alien armor like paper. Tom's rifle cracked from behind cover, and another Vorthak warrior dropped. From the fields, more humans emerged. Neighbors who had been quietly surrounding the landing zone since the ship first appeared. These weren't just farmers, they were veterans. Jake Morrison crawled through his own cornfield with the patience of a hunter and the skill of a Marine sniper. His rifle had taken down Taliban fighters in Afghanistan and now painted alien heads in its crosshairs. Mary Chen, who ran the local veterinary clinic, had learned field medicine in Iraq. She advanced through the chaos with a tactical first aid kit and an M4 carbine she maintained better than most active duty soldiers. The Vorthak found themselves facing something their 47 conquered worlds had never prepared them for: humans who fought not just for survival, but for home. "Fall back," HFY shrieked into his communicator. "These aren't civilians, they're—" A thrown grenade cut off his transmission. Old Pete Williams might have been 73, but his arm still remembered how to cook a frag, and his eyes still knew how to read terrain. The explosion scattered 3 warriors and sent HFY diving for cover behind his own landing craft. The battle lasted 18 minutes. When the smoke cleared, 15 Vorthak warriors lay dead or dying in the Kansas dirt. The survivors huddled behind their damaged dropships, their superior technology useless against enemies who knew how to use cover, coordinate fire, and think tactically. Sarah Miller approached the alien commander's position, her shotgun trained on his head. "You made 2 mistakes," she said calmly. "First, you assumed farmers can't fight. Second, you forgot that farmers feed soldiers, and soldiers retire somewhere." HFY looked around at the humans surrounding his position. Every face he saw belonged to someone who had been tested in combat, and chosen to make their stand here, in this quiet place they had built with their own hands. These weren't the soft civilians his empire had faced before. These were warriors who had hung up their uniforms but never forgotten their skills. What are you?" he whispered. Tom Miller stepped into view, his rifle still ready. "We're American, son, and this is our land." The message that reached the Vorthak Empire 6 hours later was brief and to the point. Invasion of Earth inadvisable. Human agricultural settlements defended by retired military personnel. Recommend immediate strategic withdrawal and reclassification of species threat level to maximum. As the alien ship retreated into the sky, Sarah Miller returned to feeding her chickens. Tom went back to fixing his fence. The neighbors dispersed to their own farms, their own lives, their own peaceful retirement. But their weapons stayed close and their radios stayed on. Because farmers might be gentle with their crops and kind to their animals, but they had learned long ago that the most dangerous thing in any field was the person who chose to defend it. And in America, many of those people had spent years learning exactly how to do that job right.